Today we're going to be looking at how technology can help teachers differentiate lessons for each and every individual student that they have in their classroom. Students are all different. No two are the same. They all have different needs, different strengths, different backgrounds, and have different capabilities as well. Carol Ann Tomlinson said that every child is entitled to the promise of a teacher's optimism, enthusiasm, time, and energy. But one thing is making that difficult. What does every teacher need more of? Time. Their time is spent grading, calling parents, providing feedback, tutoring. How can a teacher add personalized and differentiated learning to that mix? The simple answer is through the use of technology. So, what is differentiation? This is when a teacher modifies the process, content, and/or product in order to best meet the needs of all students, in order to create a sort of level playing field for everyone in the classroom. So let's take a look at how to modify process. What is process? It's the actual act of learning. So you think about what the students are doing, what activities are they engaged in order to reach the learning objective, and whether or not that needs to look the same for everyone. For example, let's take a look at starting points. It's a disservice to students to not acknowledge that students come to the table at different starting points. Some may have had a teacher who provided more thorough explanation of a topic. For this reason, it's useful to give students the opportunity to start at different points based on prior knowledge. One way to address different starting points is using colored folders in Schoology. Students who score low on a pre-assessment might need to work through their red and yellow folders before getting to the green folder. A student who scored high might start at the green and also complete the extension folder. All students get access to the same content, but strugglers get access to remediation. Another way to approach differentiation is through group activities. These processes would be grouped intentionally, but it's important to avoid grouping all low-level students with each other, thus creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Instead, it's valuable to group students with slight increasing ability in order for students to see and work with students who are more skilled than them. One example for this would be using reciprocal teaching. Students could collaboratively work on a Google Doc, where they are taking notes about the individual steps each student is participating in with reciprocal teaching. Students are held accountable by their note-taking and their participation in the discussion with their peers. Notes also help struggling readers refer back to main ideas later. Next, we're looking at content. Teachers can differentiate and meet students where they are by teaching the same skill or objective, but using different content that is more accessible to students at various different levels. One way to do this is to provide students with resources based off their needs. Students may be working through an activity and struggling with a particular section. The teacher can make resources available to those students in need as opposed to everybody in the classroom. One way to do this using technology is by creating a teacher Google site. Based off of particular needs, students would have access to notes, websites, and activities that would help themselves without forcing students who have already mastered the content to sit through the lesson on it. Although Garner's multiple intelligence theory has been debunked, it's silly to say that we as individuals don't have preferences when learning. Some retain information better by reading text, while others like videos to deliver content. Providing content using different modes is one way to address this. Edpuzzle is a great resource to do this. Teachers can create videos and build in questions to assess students' understanding of the concepts. This may be a screencast about algebra or the audio version of a text. In both scenarios, students are given the opportunity to access the content in multiple different ways. In many subjects, concept and skills build upon each other. For example, in an English class, the concept may be theme, but if a student can't comprehend main ideas in the text, they will be unable to analyze on a deeper level. Sometimes a teacher can use different texts to get to the same place. News ELA is a website that provides numerous news texts at various levels. A teacher can choose what lexile level the text should be adjusted to. A teacher can also assign these varied texts, all while still giving the students the opportunity to engage with the same topic and the same skill. Another way to differentiate is by varying the product that is expected at the end. A student who has a noted difficulty in written expression may need smaller goals on a longer timeline in order to show improvement or to show that they have met the objectives. One way to do this is by offering students different pathways. While giving them the same initial background information and instruction, a teacher can then offer students the opportunity to choose different ways to express their learning. All students would be showing mastery, but just in different ways. One way to do this using technology would be an option to use YouTube Video Editor to create a comic displaying learning in many different ways. This gives students the opportunity to express their creativity and showing mastery at the same time. Although there are many different ways to differentiate in the classroom, they don't all have to be done at the same time. In order to make it less overwhelming, try picking one thing that you're going to try with your classroom. Thanks for listening.